When I was 16, I thought I'd met the kindest man alive. He wasn't my crush or some random stranger. He was my English teacher. Everyone at my high school adored Mr. Lewis. He was the teacher who made us feel like we mattered. He joked with us like we were equals, remembered everyone's birthdays, and said things like, "I see something special in you." But the day I watched him get fired, right in front of us, I realized none of us ever really knew who he was. My name's Samantha, and this story isn't about revenge. It's about realizing that not every person who says they believe in you actually wants what's best for you. Back then, I was quiet, painfully quiet, the kind of girl who ate lunch in the library, whose name teachers barely remembered. My parents were always fighting, my best friend had moved away, and I spent most days pretending I didn't care that nobody noticed me. Until Mr. Lewis did. He was new, early 30s, clean cut, always wearing those rolled-up sleeves that made him look more like a movie character than a teacher. The kind everyone liked instantly. When he talked, people listened. When he smiled, the whole class relaxed. One afternoon, he handed back our short stories. Everyone got a quick good job or a scribbled grade, but when he reached mine, he paused. "Class," he said, holding my paper up. "You all need to read this one. Samantha's got a voice that could make you feel something real." Everyone turned to stare at me. I wanted to melt into the floor, but I was glowing inside. It was the first time anyone had ever said something like that to me. After class, he stopped me and said, "You've got a gift, Sam. You should keep writing. Come by during lunch sometime. I'll help you workshop your pieces if you want." And I did. That first lunch, there were a few other kids, mostly quiet ones like me. We sat in his classroom, eating sandwiches, while he talked about storytelling, poetry, life. He said we were his creative crew. It felt safe, like a little world where I finally belonged. He told us things about himself, too. How he'd grown up poor, how he'd fought his way into teaching, how his old school didn't appreciate creative students. He laughed about how other teachers at this school were too uptight and said we reminded him why he loved his job. I started to admire him. A lot. He made me believe that being different wasn't something to hide, that maybe I wasn't invisible after all. Then Amber showed up. She was new, confident, smart, the kind of girl who didn't care what anyone thought. She joined our English class a few weeks later and immediately stood out. Mr. Lewis welcomed her like he did everyone, but I noticed he didn't smile as much when she spoke. She didn't laugh at his jokes. She didn't look at him like he was some hero. One time, when he complimented her essay, she rolled her eyes and said, "You sound like you're trying too hard." Everyone gasped. Mr. Lewis smiled, tight-lipped, and said, "Amber, maybe you'll understand effort when you learn respect." After class, he joked about her attitude to me, said she was a tough one, probably used to male teachers fawning over her. I laughed awkwardly, not really sure what he meant. From that day on, Amber and I didn't speak. I thought she was rude, jealous even. She clearly didn't get it. Mr. Lewis wasn't just a teacher, he was one of the good ones. Or at least, that's what I believed back then. Looking back now, I realized something important. The people who make you feel seen can also make you blind. Because when you're starving for attention, even manipulation can taste like love. And Mr. Lewis knew exactly how hungry I was for it. You know that feeling when something tiny shifts, and you don't realize until later that it was the start of everything falling apart? That was the week Amber started whispering. At first, it was little things. She'd walk past our creative crew table at lunch, smirking. One day, she said loud enough for everyone to hear, "Guess Mr. Lewis only helps girls he likes." We laughed it off. I mean, who even says that? Mr. Lewis wasn't creepy. He was inspiring, supportive. He stayed late to help us, encouraged us to write about real emotions, to trust him with our truth. But something about the way Amber looked at him, like she saw right through him, it stuck with me. Then one Friday, she didn't show up to English class. Mr. Lewis joked that she probably couldn't handle the workload. Everyone chuckled, including me, but I noticed his smile didn't reach his eyes. That weekend, my phone buzzed, a message request from Amber. "Hey, don't trust him." I stared at it for a long time before responding, "What are you talking about?" Her reply came instantly. "He's not who you think he is. He did the same thing at my old school." My stomach twisted. I typed back, "What are you even saying?" She just said, "Check his classroom computer, you'll see." Then she blocked me. The next Monday, she was back, quiet, pale, completely different. Mr. Lewis barely acknowledged her. She sat in the back, doodling, and wouldn't look up. 2 days later, she was gone. Just gone. Rumor was, her parents transferred her out, because she was disruptive. When I asked Mr. Lewis what happened, he sighed, looking hurt. "She had problems, Sam. Some kids bring their chaos everywhere they go." And for some reason, I believed him. But little things started feeling wrong. Like the time he told me, "You're one of the few I can really talk to." Or when he asked if Eli, a senior who sat near me, had a crush on me. He laughed when I blushed and said, "Relax, I'm just protective. You remind me of my little sister." It felt weird, but harmless. Until the next day, when he said, "You're more mature than the rest of them, you get me." That line sat in my chest like a stone. I wanted to tell someone, but who would I tell? My friends thought he was amazing. The principal practically worshipped him. And maybe I wanted to believe he cared, that all his compliments were about my writing, not me. Still, I couldn't stop thinking about Amber's message. A week later, I came to class early. The door was unlocked, lights still off, his laptop sat open on his desk, screen glowing faintly. For a second, I froze, then curiosity, or maybe fear, pushed me forward. I moved the mouse. The desktop lit up. There was a folder on the screen titled Student Notes. My breath caught. I shouldn't look, but my hands moved anyway. Inside, I saw names, real names, my classmates, and mine. I clicked it, and what I saw didn't make sense at first. Notes, observations, things I'd told him privately about my parents fighting, my insecurities, my dreams. And next to them, his comments. Responds well to validation. Highly impressionable. Craves approval. Attachment increasing, maintain emotional reinforcement. It felt like the floor disappeared under me. My vision blurred, my heart slammed against my ribs. He wasn't helping us, he was studying us. Like we were projects, like we were his personal experiments. I remember backing away from the computer, so fast the chair fell over, my hands were shaking. I printed a few pages before running out of the room, paper trembling in my fingers. All those kind words, those smiles, those "you're special" talks, they weren't real. He wasn't seeing me, he was watching me. I wanted to scream, but all I could do was whisper to myself. Oh my God, he's been doing this to everyone. And that's when I noticed something on the printout that made my blood run cold. At the bottom of my file, one line, written in red font. Amber, terminated contact after confrontation, must manage narrative. That was the moment I knew. Amber hadn't been lying. She'd been silenced. And I might be next. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that red text flashing in my mind, must manage narrative. Amber's hollow eyes, her shaking hands, the way she suddenly disappeared. By morning, I'd made up my mind I wasn't going to let him manage mine. I stuffed the printed pages into my backpack and went straight to school early. I planned to show them to the principal, but the moment I reached the front steps, I froze. Mr. Lewis was standing there, smiling like everything was normal. "Morning, Sam," he said cheerfully, coffee in hand. "You're early." My mouth went dry. "Yeah, just wanted to get some work done." He nodded, eyes flicking to my bag. "Dedicated as always. You know I really appreciate how much trust you've shown me. It means a lot." Trust. That word hit me like a slap. He held my gaze just a second too long, like he knew what I'd seen. I mumbled something and walked past him, heart pounding. I could feel his eyes burning into my back until I turned the corner. When I got to the principal's office, she wasn't there, just the secretary. "She's in a district meeting," the woman said. "Won't be back till after lunch." I swallowed hard. Lunch. That meant 3 hours with him roaming the halls. I couldn't wait that long. I needed a witness. Someone else who'd believe me. So I found Eli, the one who used to joke about Mr. Lewis being too chill to be a real teacher. "Eli," I whispered, pulling him into the library. "I found something, on Mr. Lewis's computer, about us." He frowned. "What do you mean about us?" I showed him the papers. He scanned the page, then looked up, face pale. "Dude, this is..." He trailed off, eyes darting. "Are you sure this is real?" "Yes. It's from his laptop. I printed it." Eli stared at me, then shook his head slowly. "This is insane, Sam. You can't just accuse a teacher." Before he could finish, the library door creaked open. It was him. Mr. Lewis. He smiled at us like he'd just stumbled upon a secret. "Everything okay in here?" Eli straightened, tucking the papers behind his back. "Oh, yeah, we're good." Mr. Lewis's eyes shifted between us. "Good. You know the library isn't open for student meetings before class? Why don't you both head to your rooms?" His tone was calm, too calm, but his smile, it didn't reach his eyes this time either. As we walked past him, he said softly, "Samantha, can you stay a moment?" My stomach dropped. Eli hesitated, but I gave him a small nod. "It's fine," I whispered. Once the door closed, Mr. Lewis stepped closer. His voice dropped, no longer friendly, no longer teacher-like. "You shouldn't go through people's things." I froze. He leaned on a bookshelf, his expression unreadable. "I know curiosity's a writer's habit, but sometimes it can get you into trouble." I gripped my backpack tighter. "I didn't..." He smiled faintly. "You did. And it's okay. I forgive you, but you need to hand me what you took." I said nothing. He took a step forward. "Samantha." My heart was pounding so loud I could barely hear myself whisper, "You can't scare me." His smile twitched. "Scare you? No, no. I'm protecting you from yourself, from saying things that could be misunderstood." Something snapped inside me. "You've been manipulating us," I blurted. "You think I don't know what you wrote? You treated us like lab rats." He exhaled, almost disappointed. "I expected better from you. I thought you'd understand that everything I do is for your growth. You're gifted, Sam, but you're letting your emotions cloud your talent." My throat burned. "You don't get to talk about my emotions." And then, without thinking, I bolted, ran straight out of the library, clutching the papers. I didn't stop until I was in the crowded hallway. Students turned as I burst through the doors, breathless. Mr. Lewis followed seconds later, his calm mask cracked. He hissed under his breath, "Samantha, don't do this." But I already had. I stood on one of the benches and shouted, "Everyone needs to see this." Dozens of heads turned. My hands trembled as I held up the papers. "He's been keeping files on us, personal stuff, things we told him in private." Whispers exploded. Someone started recording on their phone. Mr. Lewis raised his hands like he could still fix it. "That's not what you think. Those are mentorship notes, professional reflections." But then Eli stepped forward, holding his page. "Is this professional too?" he said, voice shaking. "Because it says 6 validation through female approval next to my name." The hallway went dead silent. Mr. Lewis opened his mouth, but no sound came out. Then, the principal's voice cut through the crowd. "What's going on here?" I turned, heart racing, as she pushed through the students. I handed her the papers without a word. She scanned them, her face changing with every line she read. Finally, she looked up at him. "My office, now." And for the first time, he looked afraid. I watched as he followed her down the hall, no longer the confident mentor, but a man who knew the walls were closing in. My hands were still shaking, but I felt something new rising inside me, not fear this time. Power. He had written that I responded well to validation. But he was about to learn what I responded to even better: justice. The next few hours were a blur of whispers, slammed doors, and the electric hum of gossip spreading faster than wildfire. By lunchtime, everyone in school knew. The perfect teacher, the golden boy of the English department, had been accused of keeping secret files on his students. Some believed me. Some didn't. And some looked at me like I just set fire to their favorite fairy tale. I sat alone at my usual table, untouched tray in front of me, scrolling through my phone. There were already anonymous posts on Reddit and Snapchat about the Lewis files. Someone even made a meme of him holding a folder labeled C Manipulation 101. Part of me wanted to laugh, the other part wanted to puke. Then my phone buzzed, a text from a blocked number. "You made a big mistake." My blood ran cold. Before I could respond, another message came in. "You don't know the whole story." I looked around the cafeteria, but no one was watching me. Or maybe everyone was. I ran to the counselor's office, breath shaking. "I think he's still contacting us," I said, showing her the texts. She frowned, took a photo of my screen, and said she'd add it to the report. "The principal's handling it, honey. You did the right thing." But her calm tone only made my skin crawl. Because the truth? I didn't feel like I'd done the right thing. I felt like I'd lit a fuse. And the explosion was just beginning. After school, Mom picked me up early. She'd been called in for a meeting the next morning. We drove home in silence until she finally said, "You're brave, Sam. What you did, it took courage." But I could tell she was scared, too. She kept glancing in the rearview mirror like someone might be following us. That night, I couldn't sleep again. I kept hearing his voice in my head. Calm, persuasive, the way he said, "I'm protecting you." Protecting me from what? I checked my email, and that's when I saw it, a message from an unfamiliar address. The subject line read, "You were never supposed to see those." My stomach flipped. I opened it. There was only one sentence. "You don't know what they did to me first." Attached was a single photo, a screenshot of another file, labeled Administrative Notes. It looked official, like part of his records from the district. Lines of comments from staff members about him, too personal with students, unprofessional boundaries, needs supervision. But there was one part that stood out. A note from the principal herself. "Fellas is an asset, keep him happy, parents love him." I stared at it for a long time. Was this him trying to make me feel sorry for him? Or was there more to this story than I'd been told? By morning, the school felt like a war zone. The district superintendent was on campus. Teachers whispered in doorways. Mr. Lewis's classroom was locked, blinds drawn, his nameplate gone. But the tension didn't end there. It just changed shape. As I walked down the hallway, 2 girls from my English class, the same ones who used to sit with us during lunch, cornered me. "Can't believe you'd lie like that," one sneered. "He helped you, Sam. You were nobody until he noticed you." I froze. The other one leaned in, eyes burning. "You wanted attention, and now you got it." They shoved past me, and I just stood there, heartbreaking, realizing something awful. Some people needed to believe in him, because if he was fake, then what did that say about them? That afternoon, my mom and I sat in the principal's office. Mr. Lewis wasn't there, but his lawyer was. And the principal, she looked exhausted, worn down, nervous. "We're investigating the matter," she said. "There are complications. Personnel history, confidentiality clauses." I cut her off. Complications? He was grooming students. The lawyer cleared his throat. "Allegedly." I wanted to scream. My mom slammed her hand on the desk. "You have proof. My daughter printed it." The principal looked down, fingers trembling. "It's not that simple." And that's when I saw it. Guilt in her eyes. She knew. She'd known for a while. They just looked the other way. And now all of it, the trust, the files, the manipulation, was about to come crashing down not just on him but on everyone who protected him. As we left the office, I turned back and said quietly, "You can't bury this." The principal looked up, pale. "I'm not trying to." But her voice told a different story. Because sometimes the real betrayal doesn't come from the monster in plain sight. It comes from the people who let him stay. By the next morning, the whole school felt different, like the air itself was waiting for something to happen. Whispers stopped when I walked by, phones turned, teachers looked tense, like they knew something big was coming. I sat in homeroom pretending to take notes, but my hands wouldn't stop shaking. Because today was the meeting, the one where the district was coming to review the allegations. And I had a feeling it wasn't going to stay quiet for long. When third period rolled around, the loudspeaker crackled. "Mr. Lewis, please report to the principal's office immediately." Every head in the class turned. I swear, you could feel the silence thicken like fog. He stood up, calm, collected, and smiled. That same warm, confident smile that used to make everyone feel safe. "Guess they're finally giving me my chance to clear this up," he said. But I saw it. The twitch at the corner of his jaw, the panic just beneath the surface. He walked out and the door clicked shut. Not 10 minutes later, through the window, I saw the principal's assistant sprinting toward the office, phone pressed to her ear. Then, chaos. The loudspeaker cut on again. "All students, please remain in your classrooms." A wave of murmurs filled the room. Someone whispered, "Is he being arrested?" Someone else said, "No way, it's just a misunderstanding." But my gut told me otherwise. 15 minutes passed, then 20. Then the sound of shouting echoed faintly from down the hall. I recognized the voice. His voice, snapping, furious, unhinged. And then came the part I'll never forget. The office door burst open. Mr. Lewis stormed out, face red, papers flying from his hands. Behind him trailed the principal, the superintendent, and a security officer. He was yelling, "You can't do this to me. You don't understand. They're lying." The hallways filled with students peeking out of classrooms. Phones were out, cameras recording. His perfect mask had finally cracked. The principal's voice shook but stayed firm. "Mr. Lewis, you are officially terminated from the school district effective immediately." He froze, like someone had just ripped the ground out from under him. For a split second, his eyes found mine through the window. And I swear, it wasn't anger in his face, it was betrayal. Like I was the one who ruined him. He shouted something I couldn't make out, and the security officer stepped in, gripping his arm. Mr. Lewis struggled, still yelling. They needed me. Those kids needed me. But the more he shouted, the more everyone saw it, the truth. The charming teacher wasn't a misunderstood mentor. He was a man who built his identity on control. As they escorted him out, papers scattered across the floor, some of them familiar. Notes, assignments. One fluttered near my feet, and I picked it up. It was one of his student notes, not mine this time, someone else's. But the words were the same. Seeks approval, easily influenced, reward praise, limit criticism. My stomach turned. How many of us had been just names on his experiments? Later that day, the principal held an emergency assembly. Parents packed the auditorium, the district rep stood stiffly on stage, and the principal, for once, looked terrified. She said, "Effective immediately, Mr. Lewis has been terminated following violations of professional conduct. We are cooperating fully with authorities." The room buzzed with gasps, arguments, whispers. And then a hand went up. My mom's. She stood, voice trembling but steady. "Are you going to apologize to the students who trusted you and to the families who were ignored?" The principal's lip quivered. "We will be conducting an internal review." "No," my mom said, "you'll be conducting accountability." And for the first time, people clapped. It wasn't thunderous. It wasn't even loud. But it was enough. That night, I sat in my room, reading old messages from Mr. Lewis, things I once thought were harmless, encouraging, supportive. But now, I could see it all so clearly, the subtle pressure, the guilt, the manipulation. He didn't choose me because I was special. He chose me because I believed I wasn't. And that's how people like him win, by finding your cracks and convincing you they're protecting you from them. So I deleted every message. Every file. Every trace. Then I opened my laptop and started writing. Not a story for class, not an essay for grades. But my story, titled, "The Day the Favorite Teacher Fell Apart." And for the first time, I didn't write for his approval. I wrote for me. Because sometimes the scariest part of the truth isn't realizing you were fooled. It's realizing how much of yourself you gave away to keep the illusion alive.